Okay, for the last time, I am not kick-ass. I kick a lot of ass, but I'm not kick-ass. Okay, people, welcome back to another Fwoosh review. Tonight I'm taking a look at the Mezco 1/12 Collective Deadpool, and this is the exclusive in his X-Men colors, the blue and yellow. Now this is actually, and this is kind of exciting, at least for me, you know, I'm feeling giddy right now. This is the first 1/12 Collective figure that I've gotten where I'm going to open the box, I'm going to see what's inside, I'm going to check out the figure here in my own review space. It's my first big step into Mezco, but that's not to say that I've never messed with one before. Actually, Dis Thunder, big proponent for the line, he sat me down at a Mexican restaurant in Salt Lake City and handed me the comic Punisher and the movie Batman. I didn't want it to, but it blew my mind. I even went the next day at Salt Lake Comic-Con and bought the Punisher, but he's been sitting in a box since then. I don't know why I felt so nervous. Scared, maybe, is even a good word to use. But this is a big, deep, expensive rabbit hole that I've been trying to avoid. But when they showed this Deadpool, I had to jump on it. I have a few more on pre-order. They just haven't released yet. So this is my big scary one right here. This may do it. The box, pretty plain, pretty sparse. Just the yellow, the red, X-Men, the Mezco exclusive, Marvel. Not a lot on the outside here. On the side, X-Men logo, Deadpool 1/12 Collective. On the back, kind of a, you know, artsy picture of Deadpool. Same on the other side. The top, just logo. I do dig pose, play, and display. That perfectly sums up my collecting experience. I like it. On the bottom, legalese, warnings, barcode. So, not a lot on the outside here, and you can't get in there to see what's actually in it. And you guys know me, I like a big window, I like to see what's inside, but it also adds to the surprise factor here. So I'm gonna get this open, see what's going on here. And out of the box, even though several people have told me they're like little mini Hot Toys, they're actually kind of packaged like a Hot Toy. At least the couple I have. I'm not a huge Hot Toys collector, but the few I have has been like multi-level tiered or whatever in plastic like this. So there's the first layer with the figure, the accessories, that kind of thing, and then back here is that, well, actually it's quad layered. There's the there's a whole section for the baggie. And I dig a baggie because you can put all the stuff in it. That's cool. And then the bottom layer has the stand. So, ooh, little protective. I like that. Again, just like Hot Toys, big elaborate stand. Ooh. I'm impressed with this so far because it hasn't fallen under its own weight. Take a page out of that book, Metacom. Oh, nifty, there's a plug. Is it? Is that what it is? Aha, yeah, you unplug that, you put the stand in. Oh, I guarantee that's a foot peg. We're learning as we go, or I'm learning as I go. You're at home going, hey, dumbass, that's a foot peg, or just a plug. I don't know. We'll find out. And then the figure itself inside the packaging looks like it is very, very protected. Lots of plastic around it. Looks like I have a little, is that a grenade? Seriously? Where'd the other, oh, there's another one down in there. That's insane. I'm going to get all this out, and then we'll go from there. Whew. Oh, man. And here he is all out of the package. I pulled him out of the package. I took a couple pictures of him in a neutral stance. And then instead of going through all the accessories, all the pictures for that, and the hands, and the head, I went right into playing. And if that doesn't say anything else, that just means that I am impressed with this figure. Now there are sculpted parts. There's the bracers, the gloves, the boot tops, the boot bottoms, the bandolier, the belt, and the head. Everything else is covered by cloth, and I think that was my big sticking point here, was the cloth. I live in Arkansas. Everything gets dirty eventually. I live on a dirt road in the middle of a field, so, but so far, this has been damn fantastic. Now the paints on those sculpted parts, there is a wash to the yellow, bringing out the detail, the little scratches, the little scuffs. I like that. I dig that. Get to the bandolier, and it seems a little bit plain. I think the wash is there, but it's not near as heavy as the other parts of the sculpt. Getting up to the head, I think this is my sticking point with the Mezco. I got this Deadpool because it's in the blue costume. I don't have a figure of that. But I feel like the head is slightly puffy. It's great. It works awesomely. I just feel a little puff to it. Like there's something stuffed up under his mask or something. I'm going to keep going back and forth. But then... And the paints on that match the rest of the sculpted detail too. It's got that wash on the yellow and it has the wash on the blue to kind of darken to bring out the details. Looks great. But this being my first Mezco figure, at least in this much detail, holding it for this long, having my full attention on it, wow. I mean, the cloth works way better than I thought it would. It does hinder a little bit here and there. You can't just go ripping on the shoulder and rotate it all the way around. You gotta be methodical with it. You gotta pay attention to what you're doing. And the cloth, for the most part, looks good. And I didn't notice it until I started looking through the viewfinder, but right here I have kind of a couple of, like, picks at it. It looks like the cloth is a little bit tattered. And it's not torn. It's not even a hole. It's just, it looks like something hit it pointy, you know what I mean? But with Deadpool, I'm good with that. I think it still comes down to what I thought I wouldn't like about full costumed characters, and that's the difference in the texture from head to body. It's definitely cloth right here. You can tell it has that texture, but you get up to the head and it's smooth. So it doesn't match all the way through, where in my mind, I feel like it should match all the way through, because this should be the same material as this. But they can't do cloth over it. Well, I guess they could. Maybe someday they will come out with that. Again, for Deadpool, I'm giving it a pass. Only because it's Deadpool, I don't have this costume. But everything else, it's like having an import company domestically. Does that make sense? Everything is high quality, except for one thing. And we'll get to that in the accessories. It's not a big deal, but everything else, oh man, I am thoroughly impressed. Now, going over the articulation, there is a dumbbell joint. It goes down into the neck, and then it goes up into the head. And then there's another kind of ball joint at the bottom of the neck. It just gives you a little bit of motion there, though. But it's subtle, and it adds to the overall movement of the head. You can get tilt over. You can get tilt over. His chin doesn't quite touch his chest. And then look up. I feel like that's where it suffers the most. It doesn't go that far. It's a ball joint at the shoulder. I think, again, the cloth hides a lot. There is some forward and back motion, just a little bit. I'm sure somebody's ripped the clothes off one of these things. I made that sound way more pervy than I meant it to sound. And I'm sure they saw what's under everything, but I'm not going to do that. I like the figure as is. There's some kind of joint in the shoulder. You can get forward, but like I said, the cloth starts to bunch right there. You don't want to go too far. It swings out. I mean, wow. The good thing about the cloth, they can have as much clearance in that joint as they want, and it doesn't look nasty like it would on a Marvel Legends or any other plastic action figure. There's a swivel at the bicep. Double elbow, feels like, comes all the way up. You can't beat that. There's a swivel at the glove. There's a swivel hinge swivel at the wrist. You can hinge it up and down, or if you maneuver it around, you can get side to side. Lots of range of motion there. Then, of course, swivel. The torso, I'm going to be honest, I have no clue what's going on under there. There is some side to side. There is some forward and back. It was kind of hard to move at first. I don't know if that was because of the learning curve of me having to mess with the cloth over the articulation with this harness over that. I'm like, there's too much stuff going on, but it does go forward. It does go back. There is some side to side. It's almost easier to grab his shoulders and go side to side like that. And then there's rotation. At the hips, it feels like a hinge and swivel. It goes forward pretty much all the way. Back, about right there. Out, feel like it go further, but it starts to stretch right there. And you definitely, well, see, about right there. That's still not bad. That's better than a lot of action figures today. There's a swivel at the thigh. Double knee comes all the way up. Can't quite kick his own ass, but damn close. Swivel at the boot. And then there's a dumbbell in the ankle. You get back, you get forward, you get some side, and you get rotation. I feel like there should be more there. And going back to the sculpt for a second, look at those treads. That's awesome. For accessories, Deadpool has 4 sets of hands. He has 2 fists. He has 2 trigger finger hands for his guns. He has 2 sword holding hands, or whatever you want to hold with these. And then he has a set of hands that aren't matched. He has a right hand that's an open, kind of grip hand to either hold the weight of his rifle or hold something else, and then his left hand is the surf's up. But depending on the angle, you can also have it as a thumbs up or his pinky out. However you want to use that. Switching hands works beautifully. It stays on when you want it on. It's got a nice pop. But the hands are kind of rubbery, so it makes that transition really easy. Take another hand and it pops right on. No problem at all. For other accessories, he comes with his sword. I love the sculpt on this. It's nice and simple, but there's some nice little detail in there. For paint, there's silver on the blade. There's gold and blue on the handle. Pretty much matches his costume colors. I dig that. Now it goes in the hand pretty good, and it also goes in the sheath on his back, but it doesn't hold in there. It slips out, which is only a factor if you're going to hold him upside down. In normal posing situations, it'll stay in there, but you get them all flippy, and it's going to fall out. He comes with a rifle. I love the sculpt on this. It works completely. That's on top of the paint. It's got a nice silver dry brush to it. It looks worn. It looks weathered. And if you look at the end of the scope, it even has a glossy black on it like it's actual glass. So nice little detail there. Plus, it's not without its own action features. You can pull the magazine, and it has a round with its own little paint job and everything. The gold, the copper, like a little bitty Hot Toys. A lot of people told me about this, but holding it in your hand, it's kind of unbelievable. My only problem with that, it kind of falls out every now and then. It doesn't snap up in there. It's more of a friction hold. If you push real hard, yeah, it's a little bit tight, but it works itself loose if you're trying to get it in his hand or in a pose or something like that. And then you can also slide this forward. I believe this is a grenade launcher of some kind, and you can put these little grenades in it. I guess they're called grenades. They may be something else, but they're cool. Nice little sculpt to them. They even have their own little paint jobs. And taking that, you can put that in there. It looks good. Close it. This is a little bit loose. It kind of slides forward, and the grenade will also fall out at the end just like that. But for what it is, you're giving me extra options. I'm not going to gripe about it, no matter how fiddly it is. And I think that's my biggest... See, there went the magazine. Now this is made out of a nice hard plastic, which I liked at first until I broke this sight thing off, and it's actually gone. I can't find it. It just kind of snapped off, and then the rest kind of broke out of there. But me, being the most non-technical gun guy in the world, well, I probably know a little bit here and there, but I am no expert at all. This still works. But my problem here is, if you want him holding it with two hands, he has to shoot left-handed. He only has this bigger grip hand, and then you put the trigger finger in his left, which, again, not a huge deal, but I would have liked to have seen extra hands. And that's not me putting down the amount of accessories that come with this figure at all, but I would have liked to shoot from the right, too. He comes with a pistol for an accessory. Again, nice sculpt to it. It has some silver dry brushing on it to, again, weather it up, bring out the little details on it. And again, this has a magazine that comes out, and it has a round loaded. Again, it has its own little paint job on that. Again, I'm impressed as shit. This one seems to stay a little bit better in there, but again, there's no click to it. It's just kind of held in there by how tight you push it up in there. And then for his final accessories, he comes with some grenades. Nice little sculpts. It's got the handle sticking up. It's a ball. I don't know what kind of grenades these are. They're not your usual pineapples. It's more of a round, and again, it matches his costume with the blue and the eyes and the yellow. I love that. Now, he can't hold them in his hands, but he can also have them hanging from the belt. Now, you may be thinking, wow, those look great on the belt. I mean, it's really impressive how they hang there. While I'm thinking, I just made you look at Deadpool's bulge. And for his last accessory, on the body at least, is his alternate head. And this is one of those situations where it's not radically different. It's just the right eye a little bit wider than the left. It's different than the regular head, but not super different. I would have liked to have seen maybe an unmasked head or a half pulled up mask or something else right here, just to make it more different, more worth the changing out. And to switch that, like I showed during the articulation, it just pulls right off. Not a big, huge pull or push, but it stays on securely. It's really, really nice. And then finally, there's the stand. This is the most high-quality stand that I've gotten in a long time. Now, I'm impressed by Figma stands, that kind of thing, but the tightness here, it is great. If it were a perfect world, there would be more weight to the base, so you could have him flying out and such. But as is, I love this thing. It's nice. It stays in position. You can rotate here. It has the clamp. The clamp could be a little bit tighter, almost spring-loaded to hold around the figure, but wait, no, that's just the screw right there. But otherwise, wow, this may be a stand that I actually use. Now, it will eat a lot of shelf space because of how big the base is and how long the arm is. But for action poses and such, I'm going to keep this in the review space here for other reviews. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's that nice. For comparison, here he is with the Marvel Legends Deadpool from last year, the Bucky Cap body, and I'm surprised this works. The height is a little bit shorter, which I feel like the Marvel Legends Deadpool is a little bit tall. When they added the boots, it kind of pushed him up a little bit. The bulk is the same. It's just the aesthetic itself, the cloth, that separates this from Marvel Legends. Otherwise, this fits right into the display. I say I was surprised because I figured these would be a little bit bigger because of the cloth being used or whatever. I don't know. Maybe that was one of my things, trying to psych myself out from actually getting one of these. But it's looking worse and worse for my bank account. So at the end of the day, oh, Mezco, what you doing to me? It's just that good. Now, buying Marvel Legends as long as I have and other action figures that don't involve cloth, my brain sees a softness to it, like there should be muscle striations or just bulges, hard corners, details, that kind of thing. But I'm slowly coming around to the fact that this is what a dude in cloth would actually look like, just shrunk down to 6 inches. And yes, I know there's a huge divide between the people who like cloth and the people who absolutely hate cloth. I never actually hated it. In fact, this may keep me from buying more Mezco just to save a little money. Not that I don't want it, but it's still that difference between the head and the body, or the gloves and the body. That if there's a difference in texture, it just turns me off a little bit. Like I said during the review, because this is Deadpool, hey, I'm good with it. It's kind of a craziness to it. It kind of fits Deadpool. In fact, I've already pre-ordered the X-Force version, so that's how much of a sucker I am for Deadpool. But I passed on the red Deadpool because I thought I have the Revoltech, I have the Marvel Legends, we have another Marvel Legends coming out, there's a Figma red Deadpool coming, but after messing with this, I'm kind of regretting passing on the red. I want it now, and I don't know how I'm going to get it. People have been telling me to pick up this line, to just jump in, and now that I finally have, I kind of want to go, why didn't you guys tell me about this earlier? But you did. Especially Dustin. He's been on my ass for a long time to get one of these in the review booth, and I finally did, and it's as I feared. I'm gonna need more of these. So I hate it and I love it at the same time. I hate it because it's gonna cost me a lot more money, and I love it because it's going on the shelf as is. Anyway, Mezco, you got me. I loved the Batman and the Punisher I messed with. I'm now in more of a hurry to open the Punisher I already have, because this is freaking amazing. Good job, both in hooking me, hooking apparently a lot of other people, and just putting out a quality product. So if you like the review, comment, like, subscribe, but I'll catch you on the Fwoosh.